Today they say they can't even produce the real note for the property. So it's just literally a demand. We're just going with their protests by giving up what's actually ours. But we have not got to the level of being demand. Because when we become demand, we can make our demands. You feel what I'm saying? And we'll quit worrying about demand. That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's the level of consciousness that we're trying to get to. So we're not running out here on no small-minded tasks. We're becoming giants within ourselves. So whenever we move, we're moving the energy of the planet. We're energetic beings. You can think of something, somebody will show up. This is facts. You can think of somebody, they will call you. So your energy of divine consciousness expands greater than your physical body. You're inseparable from the cosmic consciousness of the entire planet. It is your existential body. So whenever you think a concentrated thought in any particular place, you shake the entire universe from here all the way to planet Risk. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Thought travels faster than the speed of light. So it certainly travels faster than the white man's bullets. That's a fact. Because if you created your consciousness, you've already created the scenario in your mind that when he shows up, you have defeated him. So you travel so faster than that situation even happening that you was there before it happened and disarmed his ass. Y'all don't hear me. Your thought traveled all around the universe faster than the rotation of the planet, and you was there before it already happened. That's why you have a deja vu. That's why you have a deja vu. We're teaching today. That's what nation building is about. Getting back in that consciousness. We're not repeating the Black Panther parties, the 70s movements. We're not repeating that. This is an enlightened state of consciousness. People have never heard this before. The New Age thinkers have stolen it and put it in their stuff. But that's us. That's us. So every time we talk about black empowerment, we're constantly talking about the struggle. But all divine supreme knowledge of the planet belongs to us. And the white man has used that to rule us. But he can only use a percentage of that because he is not an embodiment of its reality. And the best he can do with his limitation is suppress the God is within us and rule by default. But when we realize who we are, his time is over with. That's a fact. It's over with. But we got to give up all our attachment to the Europeans' concepts about having anything and accept what is ours in divine mind. That's a fact. If you don't have it in divine mind and consciousness, it is not yours. You have nothing in the material world. Your material world is sustained by your thought ciphers. And your stream of consciousness will be your journey in life. And if your consciousness is polluted, then so is your life. And if your consciousness is divine and full with divine thoughts, then your life will be divine. So you don't have to be attached to good moments, good situations, and good people. Have a good mind, and that's all that you will experience. Otherwise, you're imprisoned in times and space intervals. Literally. But when you go into divine mind, you're not attaching yourself to mirages or holographic projections of time-space intervals. You're going back to a higher level of mind, where now the whole stream is divine, not just one circumstance. You know what I'm saying? A circumstance is just a stance in a greater circle. That's why it's a circumstance. But it's cutting you off like circumcised. You see what I'm saying? Unless you see the greater picture of reality, which is getting into divine flow. That's momentarianism. None of their greatest philosophers or religious theologies of any religion or organization can argue with momentarianism. It is the highest, most divinest philosophy ever thought of man by man. And if you question that, raise me up a dead one who can argue with it now. Raise up any of your philosophers and right now from the dead and let them argue with this living momentarianism. You'll find dust and bones. So it's time that we got with this living doctrine and this living life in the living waters of momentarianism. And that's what we manifesting here in this temple. Living in that divine consciousness of the now and having a divine consciousness right now. There's no other time. There's no other time. And working to create that in your mind is the only work that you have to do. Because if you don't do the work there, you continuously experience the limited thoughts. Because when you go out into the world, you're going out into your mind, into your projections. So if you ain't done the work here, there's no work you can do out there. That's a fact. So this is a place of meditation and achieving divine consciousness. Not getting attached to methodologies and strategies, but becoming the ultimate point of where anyone can reach through any strategy or any methodology. And now you are an exemplification of what you want to teach unto men and unto women. So we're raising ourselves to become the highest exemplifications of where we want our nation and our community to be at. That's what we manifest in ourselves. And they feel their energy and feel the embodiment. And it's not impractical. Because once your consciousness weighs up, you'll start receiving creative ideas to solve problems that you thought were unsolvable. Your creative mind will activate, and the stuff that you were struggling with, you will effortlessly begin to figure it out. So it's practical. But as long as you're in a limited mind, you can see no end to the problems. But when you transcend and reach a transcendental level of consciousness, you've already solved the problems in your higher knowing. Where the answers to everything lie. Where every book has written its origin. The origin of all information, wisdom, and literature the living man is the source of that, which is a representative of all men who have ever existed, and you yourself can pull from the same well springs. But we have to become consciousness and become enlightened. That's a fact. This is our moment to do this. This is our space to do that. Becoming God conscious. Becoming enlightened as a black mind. Not historically literate. Not theologically literate. But becoming enlightened. Waking up completely into the consciousness realization of the divine order of the universe as how it is related to you. That's a fact. That's the energy that we're moving in. And we'll start to see things change as we can become situated and seated in that divine state of realization. Otherwise, we're acting out of an old paradigm of fear. Thinking we're solving something, we're reinforcing the negative belief system about it. That's a fact. We're reinforcing it. They say that there's a lot of drive-by shootings and stuff going on in our community. But if you look at it, those souls are constantly incarnating. So we got to wake them up in their incarnations. Not struggle over their transitions. You hear what I'm saying? Because they won't have to make those transitions constantly if our people ultimately enlighten. Because it's hard, impossible to destroy the enlightenment. Because whenever one form goes down, it just re-realizes itself as God in another form. And them gods keep realizing themselves as God and keep realizing themselves as God. And it becomes such an unstoppable force that your white supremacy has to submit to it. It has to submit to it. And if you make a transition being a living God, you will be born as an avatar. You will be born as a bodhisattva. As an enlightened being, you will be born as a guru if you die in a state of God realization. Because you make the transition into a higher level of consciousness in the physical world. That's a fact. But if you die as a fool, you incarnated as less of a fool. That's a fact. So there's no death for consciousness. Because you are entering into the consciousness of eternity by making the connection of all your eternal selves by realizing yourself in the moment. That's a fact. Then you are Imhotep, you are Isis, Akhenaten, Ra, Ramesses,